My last video was all about my fun camera, so I think in this video we should cover my serious camera, or the camera that I use for client shoots, which is the Fujifilm X-H2s that's filming this right now. My old X-T3 used to be my serious camera. It was the camera that I used on all of my client shoots and paid gigs. But unfortunately that thing is slowly dying, and also I wanted to replace it with something that's more usable in a hybrid sense, because the X-T3 was promoted as a hybrid camera, but there's not an actual way of quickly switching between photo and video settings. And basically that's why I wanted the X-H2s. I wanted to have the PASM dials, I wanted to have the custom modes, so that whenever I'm on a client shoot I can really quickly switch from photo to video and not have to lose time changing the settings like on my X-T3. This X-H2s is actually the first ever camera that I bought brand new. For all of my other cameras I always bought them used because it's much cheaper to buy used, and generally I don't think cameras are that easy to break or to go wrong, so I never had an issue with a used camera. But when it came to the X-H2s, there was only a couple on the used market, and for some reason the used ones were priced higher than what I could get a new one for, so I decided to just order a new one. So as you may know, the X-H2s is Fuji's flagship camera, not counting the medium format cameras they have, and it offers basically all the best features that Fuji has to offer right now. The only other camera I was thinking about buying was the Fuji X-S20. I used to own the X-S10 before buying the X-H2s, and I really liked the X-S10 being so small, but unfortunately the X-S20 not having dual card slots and not being weather sealed wasn't ideal for me. It wasn't a deal breaker, but I could get the X-H2s for not that much more, and it's definitely gonna last me longer and going to be a better camera for longer. My main workhorse lens right now is the Tamron 17-70 f2.8, which I actually bought used. I got it for around 500 euros. A new one right now it's about 800. When I saw it pop up for 500 used, it was definitely a no-brainer. Before buying the Tamron, I was using the Sigma 18-50 f2.8, which is a similar lens, especially when you compare image quality and performance, but having the 17 on the wide compared to the 18, and definitely having the 70 on the telephoto side compared to the 50 is much more valuable to me, and is something that I really missed while using the Sigma. Some other advantages the Tamron has over the Sigma are the weather sealing and the vibration compensation, which is Tamron's optical image stabilization. The X-H2s already has image stabilization, but adding the optical image stabilization from this lens definitely makes a noticeable difference, and I can get much smoother footage than I used to be able to with the 18-50. This camera with this lens is definitely quite big. When you think Fujifilm, when you think APS-C sensor, you would think small camera, small lenses, but this thing is quite beefy and it's not much different than using any other full frame system. But with the performance I can get out of this camera and this lens, especially for video, I don't mind the size. When I don't want a big camera, I can always take my X-T3 with a smaller lens, and that's not an issue. And when you're working with clients, a bigger camera helps, because the bigger the camera, the better the photographer, we all know this. So this is definitely a good setup for me. So I've been using this camera for the past 3 months, either with the Tamron or the Sigma lens for 90% of the time. And I think it has made my workflow much better, much faster and much easier, as well as making the deliverables for my clients much better, because I lose less time on changing settings and I spend more time on actually creating the photos or the videos that my clients need. Recently I shot a festival here in Jib, and having this camera really helped me, because it was a hybrid shoot where I was doing both photos and videos, and there was things happening that I needed both photos and videos for, that I didn't really have much time to be switching settings. So I set up 2 custom modes, one for video and one for photos, and it was really easy and really fast to switch by just turning that one dial from C1 to C2 and being able to capture both photos and videos of whatever I needed. This setup made the whole shoot go much easier than it would have been with my X-T3. I still used my X-T3 for some shots, but I kept it set up on a gimbal, so I was always ready to just pick it up and use it, but 90% of the project was shot on the X-H2s. I went for the X-H2s over the X-H2 just because I didn't really want the 40 megapixel sensor. I already buy backup hard drives way too often, and with 40 megapixel raw photos to backup, I think those would fill out twice as fast, so having a 26 megapixel sensor is much better for me. I don't think I lose out on much of the quality, especially when 90% of my clients will look at the images and videos on their phone, but even if they put it on a TV, if they print it out, it will still be good enough with the 26 megapixel sensor. Shooting with the X-H2s has definitely opened my eyes on how gear matters, and in my opinion the most important thing when it comes to gear is having the gear that makes your work easier. Not having the gear with the best quality or whatever else, but just having gear that makes your workflow easy, simple and effective, which is what this setup does for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.